Pro-Khalistani groups are protesting in Toronto after the assassination of Canada-based Khalistani Tiger Force chief Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Now, these are the visuals of the protest that we are getting. Pro-Khalistani groups have started protesting in Toronto after the Canada-based Khalistani Tiger Force chief Hardeep Singh Nijjar died. Now, we are getting these live visuals from Toronto. Well, these visuals that you can see on your screen are of Indians protesting in Toronto after the KTF chief Hardeep Singh Nijjar died. Now, members of the Indian community countered with Khalistani protesters outside the consulate in Toronto. Now, these are the live inputs that we are getting for you. As you can see on your screen, these are the visuals of Indians and pro-Khalistani groups protesting in Toronto after the Canada-based Khalistani Tiger Force chief Hardeep Singh Nijjar died. Now, joining me on the broadcast is Abhishek Jha. A very good morning, Abhishek. What more details are we gathering?
So we know that Khalistanis they had planned this protest march on protesting Hardeep Singh Nijjar's death and his killing. And they are trying to blame the killing on Indian state agencies. In fact, we have seen so many posters across various countries in UK, US, Canada, where these Khalistani elements have tried to put the blame of Hardeep Singh Nijjar on Indian agencies and Indian diplomats. India had registered a strong protest on these posters, and several countries have also reacted and reassured that such protest would not be allowed and it will be unacceptable. So in that context, this protest is happening. We could also see some of the Indians trying to, protest what Khalistani separatists are creating, an anti-India sentiment and anti-India rhetoric there. And this was a small but clear face-off between the Indian community and those fringe elements, those separatists and extremist Sikh elements who are trying to create a case for Khalistan.
Okay. Well, Abhishek, help us understand that the Canada-based Khalistani Tiger Force Chief Hardeep Singh...
Solidarity of Canada and India altogether and they are giving wrong information saying they want to kill our diplomats, which is really good, and we are totally against that. Canada is
All right, Abhishek, help us understand that Canada-based Khalistani Tiger Force chief Hardeep Singh Nijjar was one of the most wanted terrorists in India. Now, what is the stance of the authorities in Canada on this issue?
So, that is a case that the criminal case that is still being investigated, because we could see apparently two bike-borne assailants came and they shot Nijjar, shot him down, and he was killed while still in a parking lot in the Gurdwara in Canada. So it's been almost 3 weeks since that killing, but then Khalistanis, rather than calling for the investigation to be fast, they are trying to put blame of Hardeep Singh Nijjar on Indian agencies. But there are reports that the killing happened because of the war of supremacy or war of influence in the Sikh Khalistani extremist group in Canada. In fact, there has been a very deep-rooted friction between the various leaders of extremist groups, that who holds the power, who holds the money. And that was one of the reasons why Hardeep Singh Nijjar was killed. Since then, Khalistani protesters have called for a rally on 8th of July in Canada. They are also trying to protest in other parts as well. We are also getting reports that in Vancouver there was a protest march, led by these extremist group elements. But then clearly, what has changed in the recent past, that since the recent escalation, diplomatic escalation on the issue by Indian to various government authorities in Canada, in US, in UK, and in Australia, the number of extremists or number of these pro-separatist sympathizers gathering for their rallies, that has reduced substantially. We could see the number of people in our videos are not, it's not a large crowd, it's just a small group of people who are trying to create a case for Khalistan. And clearly, in the past also it has been established they do not have a very strong hold in the community, but they are rather a small group of who are governed by vested interest and supported and funded by anti-India elements. And in the past also Pakistani agencies and their role in this whole Khalistani movement has been established. So clearly, these groups or the people who you could see on television trying to protest in the name of Khalistan is just a facade. They are not, representing the Indian community or the Sikh community for that matter in that country. And these are just a handful of people trying to create an anti-India sentiment funded by anti-India agencies.
Okay, well, Abhishek, like we heard a reaction from the ground. Well, Abhishek, help us understand, like we heard a reaction from the ground also. Now, what is the public sentiment towards all these developments taking place?
So public sentiment is clearly not in favor of these Khalistani elements because, if you see about 2% of Indian community lives in Canada. And the number of people, there are hardly 2 dozen people who are trying to represent the cause of Khalistan in Canada. They are all diaspora. They are not people who have had a link to India. We have seen in the past, the last 2 decades, Pakistan state government, their spy agency ISI having funded and providing them with arms also during the 80s, this Khalistani rebellion in Punjab. So clearly, that linkage of past has been established where these Khalistani elements have been funded and supported by anti-India groupings. Even now, when India has escalated the matter, the Canadian government, Melania Joly, the Foreign Minister of Canada, had said that this will be unacceptable what these extremist groups are planning on 8th of July. We are seeing commentary coming from US also where they have said that the protest or the arsoning that has happened recently by these extremist group or the Khalistani group on Indian consulate, these will be treated as crime, as an incidence of crime. Australian Prime Minister had already assured Prime Minister Modi during his visit to Delhi that these elements will be treated hardly, and Indian agencies and Australian agencies will be regularly in touch with each other. We had also seen James Cleverly, Foreign Minister of UK, 2 days ago, reacting over the incidents of what happened at Indian Embassy, Indian High Commission in London, and said that it's unacceptable, and he has condemned it. So, these Khalistani forces, they do not have a very strong ground space. There is not a lot of support from the people or the community. There was support from the, these foreign agencies, and somehow a lax approach from the respective government to act against these elements. But now, with India increasing its ante on the issue of Khalistan, we could see several governments, coming in support of India and reacting over the issue of Khalistan. So clearly, the government is also not letting them operate as freely as they used to be. And probably that is one of the reasons why the numbers have reduced substantially. And so they are still trying to create a protest in the name of Khalistan, but the numbers have significantly gone down.
All right. Thank you so much, Abhishek Jha, for joining us on the broadcast and giving us all the latest inputs. We'll